I think we should start on our back bodies this morning, just starting with stillness. As we know, we're going to practice some yin, and yin is very much a meditative practice. Not a lot of movement, instead, a lot of awareness of that connection that is between mind and body. So to begin, we'll get ourselves stretched out on our earth. Of course, if your lower back is not happy with your legs straight, please feel free to bend the knees. Let the lower back be eased. And I think, well, I know we've all practiced the yin together. And so you know what we're getting into, but just a reminder that this is a connective tissue-based practice. We're not necessarily after stretching muscles or strengthening muscles. We're after the connective tissue, which is often referred to as fascia, that it doesn't just connect our muscles and our joints, but it actually wraps around every single muscle fiber in our entire body. And that fascia, in order to be healthy, it needs to be like stressed. So our practice of yin, it's with cold muscles so that connective tissue can endure. It is stress. It's not a normal stretch, normal warming up, any of that. When that fascia is stressed, the blood reaches it. It goes like ripping towards it and provides nourishment. So we're nourishing our connective tissue. So wherever you are this morning, your home, your good friend's home, wherever, just let yourself settle there. Maybe you still have your eyes open and you're just noticing what it is you see in that space. If your eyes are closed, no doubt there's a certain amount of light that comes through the eyelids. Be aware of sounds or smells. Temperature of the air as it touches your skin. On Wednesday, we worked with the softness of the pelvic bowl, the relaxing of the perineum. And so this morning, I just invite you to remember that practice where we inhale and soften the pelvic bowl. And your exhale it'll lift it, engage it a little. But your intention is just to maintain that softness. You might soften your face. Let your shoulders relax. Your belly is soft, your back is supported by your mat. Your butt, your legs, your body just as a whole is settling in here this morning. As your body gets still, it gets quiet, the mind gets quiet. And I'm wondering if you can feel your heart beating. Typically, as we quiet, we can become aware of the heart. And as we do, it's as though we just bring our awareness or our focus right on into the beating of the heart. This morning, I'd invite you to begin counting the beats of your heart. And we're going to just lay here in this stillness, aware of and counting the beats of the heart until we've counted at least 60 beats. And keep awareness of the heartbeat. Yin yoga, again, is a very slow meditative practice. And yin and yang, of course, yang is the active heat building practice. Yin then is slow, cooling. In this practice, we acknowledge the connection of body to mind by really listening to the body as we move into positions or poses. And what we'll be striving to do is to notice when our body first begins to feel sensation. When it does, we'll pause. And it's as though the mind, it observes what's happening in the body and it lets that observation become one so that the body will direct our movement rather than the mind. So if your legs are straight, let's go ahead and bend them. Let's pull our left arm up alongside our ear, down on the ground. And let our hips shift to the right so that our knees can drop to the left. And you're just going to roll onto your left side. And that left arm at first is just going to support your head just resting on the arm. Your eyes can stay closed really through this whole practice if you want. Helps keep your attention inward. We're going to start with our neck, the connective tissue in our neck and our shoulders, and just kind of move down our body. So to start, you're going to bend that bottom arm, that left arm, and let it come up and hold the head. And it might be that you like hold the ear kind of up above the ear. And your right arm is just resting on your torso. And you're letting yourself sink in the neck, like relax into this place where your bent arm and hand is holding the head. I invite you to connect with breath again. And maybe you connect with it in the way that it's that pelvic bowl, just like we did on Wednesday. Way down there, softening the perineum, the pelvic floor. Remember that breath is for the nervous system, for calming, for keeping our awareness in our body so that we remember that our mind and our body are connected. And the stillness of this practice means that we hold each pose for several minutes. If at any point the sensation becomes too great, it is okay for you to pull out a little bit. Sometimes before I pull out, I like to play with it and see if potentially there's some ease I can bring into it. Maybe you remember to relax with the breath. Good, let's take just a couple more breaths. You'll very gently lift your head up so you can straighten that arm. Bring your ear back down, let the head rest on that bottom arm and just relax. As mindfully as you can, roll to your back body. Nice and slow. Your right arm will lengthen alongside your right ear. Your hips will scooch to the left, your knees will fall to the right, and of course your body will just roll right on over to the right side, your right ear resting on that arm to start with. You'll lift the head enough that you can bend that right arm. Let your hand find your head or your ear. And that arm is going to hold up the head, creating a stretch and stress in that connective tissue of the neck. And I'm sure you can imagine like the way that there's connective tissue around the spine, around the muscles of the neck. Connected with your breath. Feeling the softness of your pelvic bowl. We've got just a couple more breaths here. Your head will lift just enough. You can slowly straighten that arm. Drop the right ear down to the right arm and relax. You're mindfully rolling back to the back body. Your knees will be bent. Your head on the ground. You might pick up the head, use your fingers even to kind of lift the base of the head and scooch it up so that you can return it to the earth, allowing the neck to just be as long as it can be in the back. And let's twist our head to the left. When you've got that point of first sensation, you're going to pause. That's as far into this pose that you'll move. You'll bring your awareness to your breath. Maybe you can still feel your heartbeat, and that's where your awareness lands. Feel that your shoulders are relaxed. Your belly is relaxed. Next inhale, your head will move back to the middle. Pause there at the middle. Take a couple of breaths. And then very mindfully, your head begins turning to the right. Pausing when you feel sensation. Softening shoulders again and belly. Next inhale, slowly bring your head back to the middle. Pausing. We need to bring our knees in towards our torso, hands to our knees. Just gently hugging the knees in. You might choose to rock a little side to side. In a sec, we're headed up to a seated position, and our knees in is just going to help us so that we can rock up using really as little muscle engagement as possible. So whenever you're ready, come on up. We'll be just at a seat. And actually, we're not going to stay here. We're going to roll around. So kick the feet around and come onto all fours. And from all fours, you'll move it to like a low plank and then bend the elbows and just lower straight to your earth. Bring your elbows so that they're underneath your shoulders. And if that's a lot on your lower back, your elbows will move out so they're not right underneath the shoulders, and that'll be less of a back bend. And so this is Sphinx in our active practice, but in Yin, we're not going to worry about keeping anything engaged. Like your legs, normally we'd have them zipped in and everything would be tight. Don't worry about that. Just let your legs flop out. Let them do what they will. Your head then, you're going to tuck the chin towards your chest. And if you have a block or even your pillow, something that your head can rest on might feel really good. But here in this version of our Sphinx, we're going to let our chest relax, let our shoulders relax. And it's as though we're allowing our heart to sink down towards the earth. If your eyes are open, you might decide to close them. Aware of the breath and just breathing. Okay, so just a couple more breaths here. Very mindfully allow that head to lift. And let's move our elbows all the way out, stack our hands on top of each other, and bring the head down, the forehead just resting on our hands. Taking some nice breaths. Maybe here again you feel that heartbeat. Maybe you count the beats of the heart. Maybe, just maybe, you can count all 60 again. That heart pulling us right into the body. Absolutely no division between your mind and your body. You one united being. Good. Go ahead and lift the head. We're gonna bring let's do our left arm straight out to the side. We're rolling onto that side, so right hand is at mid-chest level. You're gonna use it to help your torso roll out and over to the left. My right foot, I like to bend the knee and bring it back around to support, or even just rest the leg, but you're there for that left shoulder. And we won't stay here as long as we'll stay elsewhere, just because this is quite a lot. Soften the belly. Good. 2 more breaths. Your right hand is going to help you mindfully roll back to your belly. And let's go ahead and stack our hands again so that we can rest the forehead. Let the breath soften that pelvic floor. And of course, as you do that, I'm nearly sure you're going to be able to feel your belly as it expands and deflates, pushes into the earth. Good. Take one more breath. Then we're going to the right side. So head is up, right arm out and over, left hand mid-chest level. Let that left hand help roll you on over to the side. And wherever your head rests is fine. I don't know if you need a pillow under there, or maybe you could use your left hand. But just trying to make this as comfortable as possible so that we can find the stillness, find the softness in our belly. And it's a lot on the shoulder. And so if you need to pull out at any point, please pull out. Just a couple more breaths. Your left hand is going to help you mindfully roll back to the belly. This time, let's pull both hands in mid-chest level. You do need to engage your core here to push up to low plank. And we're going to slide back through all fours to child's pose. And so you think you do want your pillows or your bolsters, something so that you can have some support here. And of course, there's a difference between like a restorative child's pose and a yin child's pose. If we were doing restorative, we would only have this like super cozy and comfy. In yin, though, we want it to be creating a little bit of stress in that connective tissue. So you're going to find your just right spot. There's not too much sensation, right? But there's enough that the breath can move into that space with the intention of softening and relaxing. Your head might be turned sideways, it might be forward. I'll give us a halfway point to turn the head the other way, just in case your head is turned. But same as we were doing elsewhere, we're going to soften pelvic bowl. And as your belly expands and deflates, maybe it's pushing into the props that you have supporting you. Your shoulders are soft, your face is soft. We're about halfway through, so maybe you turn your head other way, or if your body is allowing you to deepen into this a bit more, you might adjust your props accordingly. And I wonder here, there's more sensation than when we were just lying on our backs, but I'm wondering if, despite the sensation, you can feel the beating of your heart. So wherever you've got your hands, let's get them so that we can use them to push our torso up. Our prop, whether you've got pillows or a bolster, we're going to lay on top of it. And this is going to be for our spine and our hips. Where we'll want that prop is probably like straight across your hips in the front, so that almost like your waist is right at the top of your bolster, your pillows, whatever you've got. And it's like your butt's lifted way up in the off the ground. And then your hands again are going to be your forehead's resting spot. And you'll play with it, like how high you can comfortably allow those hips. And it isn't that there's no sensation, but it isn't sharp shooting. It isn't pain. And so find your spot, get your top body, your shoulders, your head comfy, and maybe your chin rests on your hands instead of your forehead. I don't know. All our bodies are a little different. Your eyes might close again. You might also notice that the bolster pushing into this like hip belly area, it's going to stimulate digestion. If there's any chance that your shoulders can relax a bit more, your butt, your legs, allow that to be. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths. To get out of this, your arms will move so they're mid-chest level. You're going to use the hands and the arms to push up. Come up to all fours. And then an option here is down dog if you want the back of the legs to stretch and move, or you might just stay down here and do a little cat-cow. Whatever might feel better for your body right now. Definitely, one is no better than the other. Just a couple more breaths. We're going to meet back at all fours. Our pillow or our bolster is still going to be serving us. We'll do we've been doing left side first, so let's stay with it. We want to send our knees to the right, our left butt to the ground, and our bolster now is going to be right at the mid of our side body. So we're going for a lateral bend. You're bringing it all the way down. Your left arm might support your head again, or it might be straight so you can rest it down. And then your legs might be straight. So you're just like a big long line draped over your bolster. That right arm then, it could just be resting on your torso, or you could lift it up and drop it alongside your ear. And of course, your intention is to relax and to soften into this, to use that breath to soften your pelvic bowl. Just remembering that while this isn't labor intensive yoga, this is stressing our connective tissue. When it's stressed, the blood rushes to it and the blood nourishes it. If our connective tissue isn't nourished, if it isn't healthy, it almost gets sticky. Our shoulders are a really good place to witness that. If you go to roll your shoulders up, back, and down, like when you're standing or something, and your shoulders, it's almost like they kind of grind or they catch, like there isn't that mobility. It might be a sign that your connective tissue it's sticky. It isn't getting the blood and the nourishment that it needs. Same thing in our neck or our hips. It needs to be nourished so that we've got mobility. Or if at any point this shifts from sensation to pain, you're gonna modify. Taking 3 more breaths. To get out of here, it might be that you bend the knees, roll towards your belly a bit, and let the hands and the arms help push you up. Once you're up, roll back so you're on all fours. Let's send our knees to the left, our right butt to the side. And then that bolster, you're positioning it, same thing, it's middle of your torso. You're coming down on top of it. Your bottom arm might be straight or it might be bent. Your legs might straighten. That left arm, it might just rest on your side or it might lift up and lengthen alongside your ear. And you've got this lateral bend. Your whole body trying to soften, relax. Remember that any time sensation moves towards pain, you adjust. Your body is directing this whole practice. Just a few more breaths. You'll get out of the same way you got out of the other. You'll bend your knees. I roll towards my belly more so I can get both hands mid-chest level-ish and they can help push me up. You're shifting it up and onto all fours. From all fours, your option, whether it's a couple cat-cows or you move to a down dog, whatever you want to do, you're realigning your spine. And then we're going to take just a sec, again, to make a personal choice of whether we slide back to, say, child's pose, or from down dog, we come into a forward fold. Both places, our intention is to soften and relax the torso, the shoulders, the neck, whole top body. Good. If you're in child's pose, you're going to stay right there. The rest of us will inhale to come halfway up. Exhale to fold. Bend our knees, arms out like wings. Use your inhale, come all the way up. Just find a big, tall mountain pose. Take an extra breath in, stretch. Then exhale, fold all the way back down. Bend your knees enough that you can plant the hands, drop to the knees. Let's all meet in all fours. So your child's pose, you'll come up to all fours. We're coming down towards what we'll use as a Shavasana, but the invitation is to use your bolster. And I guess you could use it in a lot of different ways. You could use it underneath your legs, like you might often do, or we can use it to address the spine again, and the neck, the back body. So different choices. You could have it be perpendicular to your spine, and you could come like lay over the top of it and let yourself just relax back and down, your arms out like a giant T. And if you have one of the giant bolsters, that's a lot. So your option might be to turn it so that it is the same direction as your spine. Lay back down on it this way so that your head has more of a resting place. Your arms, either way, are just going to relax out and down so those shoulders can drop back and down, opening that heart center. And if this is too much on the lower back, bend the knees. And again, if you'd rather have your entire back body on the earth, like flat and supported, you're going to make that choice. Or maybe you switch halfway through. Totally up to you. But get yourself fairly settled. Your eyes closed. And I'm going to walk us through just a relaxation practice, a body scan. Of course, first just starting with awareness of breath. Moving awareness from your breath. Let's move it down to our feet this morning. Very specifically, move your awareness into your toes. Your big toes, second toes, third toes, fourth toes, and into your little like baby pinky toe. Your awareness will move into the soles of your feet. And then into the tops of your feet. Let your awareness move into your ankles. And into your heels. Drawing your awareness up the shins, the insides and the outsides of the lower legs, and into the calves, just as though you're running that awareness right on up to the knees. Into the front of the knees and the back of the knees. Up the back of your thighs, the inside and the outside of your thighs. And your awareness runs up the front of your thigh. Let it run all the way up into the hips, to that pelvic bowl, to the butt. Awareness into your lower back. Gently move your awareness up the spine, almost as though you're going vertebra by vertebra, aware of the muscles on either side of the spine. Awareness will move to the side bodies, to the sides of your torso. It'll move around and into the front of your torso, into the belly, to the abdomen, and let it just run up, like up into the ribs, up into the chest. Shift it to the back body, let it run up through the shoulder blades. Your awareness meets right at the shoulders, right at the top of your shoulders. You drop your awareness down into your fingers, your thumbs, pointer fingers, middle fingers, your ring finger, into your pinkies. Awareness into the backs of the hands, palms of the hands, to the wrists, the front of the forearm, the sides, the back of the forearms. Move it right on up those arms into the elbows. From the elbows into the upper arms, the front, the back, the sides. Your awareness running all the way up the arms until it meets again right at the tops of your shoulders. From the tops of your shoulders, it'll move into the front of your neck, into your throat, into the back of your neck, into the back of your head, moving it around the sides of your head, so like through the ears, to the cheeks, so that your face now, your awareness is at your face. up into the forehead, and then to the crown of the head. Bring your awareness back to your toes, and then back to the crown of your head. To your toes, to the crown of your head, and maybe, just maybe, your awareness can settle on your entire body from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head, everything all at once. Now take your awareness to your heart. Feel the beat of your heart. And count to 60, the beat of your heart. When you've reached 60, you're gonna engage your core, use your hands and your arms as needed, but sit yourself straight up. Your eyes will stay closed. At that seated position, feel your heart again. When the body is still enough that you can feel the heart, the mind is still. And in that stillness, we recognize that connection. Your mind is not separate from your body. Body is not separate from your mind. With an inhale, we'll bring palms together, tuck the thumbs at the heart. Chin bows towards the chest if we'd like. The connected and unified part of me, I honor you, unified, connected, and whole. Namaste.